Hello, today I want to talk to you about a topic that came up in my session with my client yesterday, and that was about probably one of the unlikeliest things that you can do to really enhance your performance, whether you're an impact-driven entrepreneur that is creating a venture designed to make the world a better place, or a creative or a change maker that's translating your story into something purposeful and impactful, or even if you're a entrepreneur or a corporate employee that really wants to rise into senior leadership positions, or maybe even start a business of your own. I don't know. This, I think, is one of the often forgotten tools and technologies that you can leverage to really boost your performance, your mental freedom, your sense of peace and equanimity and ease and calm and composure in the face of difficult circumstances, and so that you're not triggered by really anything anymore. It's really, really powerful. And what I'm talking about is the act of forgiveness. Now, I want to tell you a bit of a story and really share with you how this has really transformed my life in a really big way. And, for a long time, I harbored resentment towards my parents, towards my mom and towards my dad, really wanting them to be the kind of parents who would offer me unconditional love and support and encouragement. But now, going through this work and doing a lot of introspection and reflection, I've come to realize it's impossible to expect unconditional love, because their love always came with conditions, the conditions of having to provide and to keep a roof over my head, the conditions of their relationship and their marriage, and the conditions of their own trauma that they carried with them, and the unprocessed, unmetabolized emotion that they had been holding in their system and their bodies and minds, which really was expressed through the way in which they interacted with me. And so for a very long time, I really resented my parents, because I was like, man, I wish I had a different family. And as soon as I got into this act of forgiveness, and I'll actually walk you through a 4-step framework that I take all my clients through to really help you implement this, I was able to feel more free. I wouldn't blame anywhere near as I wouldn't blame at all, really, because my default mode was to blame my circumstances on my upbringing and my childhood. And then I realized, man, this is such a toxic behavior, because it's just continuing to perpetuate feelings of stuckness and dissatisfaction and disappointment and suffering. Now, that's just one example, not to mention just the countless number of people on my social media feed whom I resented or had jealousy towards, and it was just micro resentments that I had, because maybe I felt like I wasn't as far along as them in life, or maybe I felt like they I guess had something that I didn't, and so I resented them because of that. And I really like what Michael Beckwith says, is a really famous spiritual educator. He says that all forgiveness is really self-forgiveness. And so being able to, forgive myself for holding on to so much toxicity in my body and mind, and be able to let go of these attachments to what other people are thinking or doing on my social media feed, or what this friend did or didn't do, or what my parents did or didn't do, really helped me move through life with less of a burden. Like I genuinely felt lighter, like my body changed, my face changed. I felt a deeper sense of freedom and connection and compassion for them and for everyone around me, knowing that, yeah, I mean, we're not perfect. And so holding onto resentment, whether conscious or unconscious, right, can create a lot of harm. Now, I do want to make one thing very clear. When I say forgiveness, like there are just so many awful, traumatic, horrific things, completely unjustifiable, that people go through, whether it's, domestic violence or sexual abuse or emotional abuse or physical abuse, just like absolutely grotesque, despicable, awful things. Now, when I say forgive, I'm not suggesting that you condone this kind of behavior that has made you perhaps feel violated or hurt or betrayed or traumatized. I'm not suggesting that you condone this behavior and let those people off the hook. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm suggesting is that when you get into this act of forgiveness, it's really what I would equate to the Buddhist perspective of non-attachment, or pioneered by David Hawkins, letting go. And when you let go of the fixation on this person. You let go of these negative feelings that you harbor towards this person. Again, you're not condoning their behavior, right? But like Rafiki says in The Lion King, forgive not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. That's really what the intended outcome here is, to really support you and your mindset and your mental well-being and your emotional well-being, and so that you can perform and create and alchemize at a really, really powerful and high level. So I'm just going to break down this framework for you into 4 steps to really round out this video. The first step of the forgiveness framework that I take all clients through is finding empathy. Finding empathy. And I can't do that for you. You have to do that yourself. But, using the example of my parents, I can find empathy for the way that they acted, because I know that if I had been through the same upbringing that they had, raised in a communist country, brought up by parents with their own unprocessed trauma, experiencing so much suffering and isolation and marginalization, all kinds of these horrific events throughout their life. And if I had the tools that they had, I probably would have acted the same way. I probably would have, raised my child in the same way. And so I can find empathy for them. The next step is harvesting the lesson, right? So really asking yourself questions like, what's the good that I can look for in this situation? What is this trying to teach me? How can I grow from this? Again, I'm so grateful for, the parents that I had in my upbringing and my influences, because they've really shaped me into becoming the person that I am today. If I had the parents that I actually wanted, I wouldn't be the man that I'm proud to be today. So being able to harvest the lesson and perhaps learning what not to do or how not to act, or learning from the mistakes that were made by others or that were done to us in the past, we can learn how to actually better show up for those around us. So there's always a lesson. But again, you have to find the lesson for yourself. I can't do that for you, right? It's much more powerful and energizing and liberating when you are able to identify the lesson and the seed of growth in that situation, potentially horrific situation, yourself. Now, the third step is practicing gratitude. Practicing gratitude, which is closely tied to the second step. Practicing gratitude is really about getting into a state of thankfulness, being grateful for what happened by leaning into the lesson. I'm so grateful that I got to go through this because I became stronger, more resilient, more courageous. It taught me how to be more compassionate, right? These are all of these qualities that are emerging through you, right? In your life, in your work, in your business, in your relationships, because of what you went through, right? The traumatic circumstances and situations that we go through, the adversities, the struggles that we face are really designed to uncover and unlock the greatest, most redeeming qualities within you to support the next level of your growth and evolution. Absolutely amazing. Such a game changer when we get to see the situations through this lens. So because of that, find gratitude. Gratitude is a really, really powerful state to be in. Gratitude is the frequency of abundance. Gratitude is a word that is used very liberally, and it's not just finding 5 things to be grateful for and jotting them down in your journal at the end of the day. That's great, right? But truly being able to be grateful for even the most horrific and challenging and awful circumstances in your life puts you in a very unstoppable place, a very unstoppable, invincible, just empowering place. Now, the last part of this framework is sending that person positivity. Often the hardest step to do, especially when we felt wronged or betrayed by or hurt or violated by this person whom we've been harboring resentment towards. Sending them positivity, the way I look at it is it's a way of really closing the loop on this forgiveness framework to really transform these lower vibrational emotions of anger and frustration and shame and blame into acceptance, will, love, and peace. That is when you become really powerful, and that's when you truly get to let go of this situation and this person completely. Sending them positivity could be something like writing a heartfelt letter to them, or if you don't want to send it to them, burning it up as a sort of ceremonial thing. You could have a conversation with this person and genuinely send them positivity. You could, pray and just mentally transmit them positivity, or engage in a visualization exercise to really imagine yourself sending them positivity, and really finding it within your heart to unlock greater levels of love and compassion for this person. Because at the end of the day, they are carrying their own unprocessed trauma and grief and challenges that they have yet to alchemize, but you are here, you're doing the work, and you're supporting them on that journey, and you truly get to become free from this situation, from this person. You get to rise above it and really enter the next phase of your awesome unfolding and evolution. So with that said, let's pause there. Thanks so much. This was a really powerful conversation for me. I hope it was just as powerful for you. If you know someone who is feeling held back by resentment, or they can't seem to move past this situation or person who's wronged them, please send this to them. This framework has already helped dozens of people, and I'd love to make that hundreds of people and eventually thousands of people. So let's get this work out there, and please like and subscribe if you found this useful. It really mean a lot to me and my team. And drop a comment. Let me know what came up for you, like which resentment are you letting go of, and how does it feel? And if you have any questions as well, please sing out. Right, this is just my experience. This is something that I've tried in my life and it's worked. I've tested it, and I've implemented it with great success with my clients as well. But this isn't like fact, right? This is just one person's perspective. Feel free to challenge me. I'm open to having a conversation, and have a really beautiful day ahead. Lots of love.